Hi, I'm Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, and this is Your Money, Your Life. Today our topic is therapy through hypnosis. Assisting me in this discussion is Don Glass, a certified hypnotist and consulting hypnotist with Just Imagine Hypnosis Centers in Andover, Massachusetts. I'm told that Don's passion is to help clients achieve their potential in addressing issues such as weight management, smoking cessation, fears and phobia, or pain management. Don, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Ramsey, it's a pleasure to be here.
What is hypnosis?
Well, hypnosis is something that really happens to everybody, every day, all the time.
Every day to everybody?
Every day, all the time.
Could you elaborate?
Sure. You know, have you ever had a dream, like a daydream, and you're just so involved, you see everything there, you feel everything?
Sure, yeah.
Well, that's a form of hypnosis.
Okay.
Now, that particular state, you go through that when you're getting up in the morning. It's where your brain waves are just a particular way. And you go through that same state when you're going to sleep at night.
I see, I see.
But the real convincer for most people is that they're hypnotizable is, when you get off the highway and you say, wait a minute, I don't remember this.
Right.
Or where did my exit go?
Right, right. Yeah, it's very common, yeah.
It's very, very common.
Yeah.
And the truth is that virtually everyone can be hypnotized if they want to be.
Okay. Now, we see, especially in comedies, in the media, we see, a situation of a person being hypnotized, person has absolutely no control, being asked to do foolish things. Is that what hypnosis really is, giving up control to somebody else?
Well, it's interesting the way you describe that. It's not really the giving up of control. Prior to that show, prior to the hypnosis, the client, the guest, made a contract with the hypnotist, and he said, "You want to have fun?
Yeah.
You want to do some crazy things?"
Yeah.
And the client agreed.
I see.
So he made a contract, appropriate for a law show, right?
Right.
Contract.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they just got into it. Now, it's important to note that was the very first phase of the show. But as the show started to progress, if you've been to one of these, you've seen the hypnotist send some people back to their seats.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
And because they really wanted to be up there, but then they had that fear and intrepidation of, my God, what are people going to think?
Right.
So they weren't being compliant. They weren't following the agreement that they set up to. So he sent them back. And then as the show progressed, you saw a lot of people doing a lot of crazy things, perhaps in an exaggerated way. But did you also note that there was a bunch of people that still were sitting in chairs and weren't doing anything?
Sure, yeah.
Well, those are the ones the hypnotist couldn't catch quick enough.
Right. Now, are those people that are quote-unquote resistant to hypnosis? Is there such a thing as being resistant to hypnosis?
If you don't want to be hypnotized, you can very much avoid being hypnotized.
Okay.
The other condition that avoids hypnosis, if you're on drugs, or if you have an IQ below 70, it becomes very hard for you to...
Why does a low IQ make somebody resistant to hypnosis? I find that interesting.
They're unable to concentrate.
I see.
And hypnosis is all about concentration, like that visualization, like that daydream that you're in so deeply.
Right.
That's what hypnosis is all about.
Now, in the movies, we see a hypnotist using a watch.
I've retired mine.
You retired your watch. No more watch?
No more watch.
So how do you induce a hypnosis? How does that happen?
Actually, the very first thing that happens is the client comes in, and in our case, we have we talk with the client before they come in. We really want to make sure that we can be of service to them. And we want to get rid of any of their fears. They might have some fears or intrepidation. Oh, am I going to quack like a duck or bark like a dog?
Right.
And we want to sit and talk with them. So usually the first part of our meeting is a discussion. It's making sure that we're addressing everything, that there are no fears. Because if you're fearful, you're not going to allow yourself to go into hypnosis.
Right.
And we get rid of that fear, we get rid of that intrepidation, and then we simply say, you can close your eyes now. And the language that we use And the words that we use are designed specifically to help the client relax and get into that state. And once they're in that state, oh, let's go back to this highway driving.
Right.
You know, when we're driving on the highway and we're hypnotized or in a trance state, if there's a siren behind us, we're going, wow, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. We wake right up.
Or the brake lights are right there.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we're there.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with hypnosis. So anything that's not appropriate, you're fully aware of. You hear everything in hypnosis. So the client goes into hypnosis, and we speak to the client in a manner that his subconscious mind understands.
Right.
You know, it doesn't understand the word right or wrong, but it understands things differently. So when we speak like that, the client's subconscious mind is absorbing everything. And we're dealing with the subconscious mind and we're dealing with the conscious mind. And many times a client in hypnosis will go, I don't know if I was really hypnotized because I heard you. And that's perfectly fine. And what we describe to that is that's your conscious mind coming back and saying, can I listen to this?
Right.
But then they drift right off. But most importantly, the subconscious hears everything. And you might equate that to like a mother sleeping at night with a new baby. You know, if that baby turns over, that mother knows that.
Right.
And it's that same sense, the same protective awareness that occurs with hypnosis.
Now, Don, earlier you said that hypnosis sort of feels like somebody who's daydreaming. Am I right to say that?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I know when I daydream, I know what's going on around me, but I'm focused on something else.
Yep.
And you're saying that's exactly what hypnosis is. You understand everything that's going on around you, you're just focused on something else.
Yeah, in fact, part of our induction process is that we tell the client, you're going to hear noises, you're going to hear people in the hall, you're going to hear your own body speaking, you might hear me moving, and all that's going to do is allow you to go deeper and deeper. So we've taken that supposed negative and we've helped the client relax with it. So while all these things go on, the client is just focused on that image that's in his mind.
Right. You're a hypnotherapist, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you use hypnosis in order to provide some sort of therapy to your clients.
Yes.
Is there a training or a certification or a licensing process for a hypnotherapist?
That's an interesting question. The state of Massachusetts does not require any licensing or registration. However, the hypnosis business is exceptionally well regulated. There's an organization in Merrimack, New Hampshire called the National Guild of Hypnotists, or the NGH, and that certifies people throughout the world that they're practicing proper hypnosis, that they're getting training, that they're doing continuous educational units.
Right.
So it's very, very well regulated. There's another organization like the National Guild that has some more specialized areas. So we've taken on that responsibility ourselves.
Okay. And you're certified?
I am a certified hypnotist.
Okay. Could you explain to our viewers why there's this World Hypnosis Day in January of 2015? What is that all about?
Well, it's just like you started off to speak, Ramsey. There's a lot of misconceptions about what hypnosis is. And 11 years ago, Tom Nicoli, the founder of World Hypnotism Day, decided to create this World Hypnotism Day to get rid of these myths. And this is the second year that I'll be there, and I'll be speaking about our virtual gastric band surgery procedure. And I'll be spilling the beans on that, on why that's working so effectively.
Now, I understand you've had a fair amount of success with this gastric band procedure. Can you explain the procedure?
Sure. When a client is in hypnosis, the client's mind believes whatever it's seeing. So their perception is their reality. And in hypnosis, when a client is having a gastric band procedure or any other surgical procedure, their mind sees that procedure happening. They smell the ether or the anesthesia. They hear the doctors. They feel things happening. And because it can't tell the difference between make-believe and reality, they know they've had an operation. And typically people will lose between 5 pounds and 9 pounds on the very first week.
Wow.
But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Because their mind knows they've had this operation, each time they go to eat, they'll just have a little bit.
Yeah.
And their stomach will feel full.
Uh-huh.
So the 5 to 9 pounds is great, and I've had people as much as 12 and 13 pounds this first week. But what's really exciting is without going on a diet, without attending meetings, without special foods, they continue to lose 1 to 3 pounds each and every week. Now that's an average of 2 pounds a week or 100 pounds a year.
So basically what they're doing is they're reducing their intake, no special diets, no yo-yo diets, none of that stuff.
That's right. It's a lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change, okay. How's the medical community responded to this procedure?
It's very interesting. A few people look at it as competitive, but where they really need the surgery to save their life, people that are morbidly obese, before they can be attended to by the surgeon, they must lose a certain amount of weight before their insurance company will approve it. And people that have gotten up overweight find it very, very difficult. They yo-yo and so forth. So with our procedure, we're able to be a pre-surgical process
I see.
where people will drop 15, 20, 30 pounds relatively quickly and be available for the surgeon.
Okay, so the surgeon will need a patient to lose, to quote you, 15, 20 pounds, and so they'll come and they'll see you and they'll go through this gastric band process and they will lose that weight so they can have their surgery.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Now, we've also, I should point out, people that have had the surgery have lost tremendous amounts of weight, but many times they've put the weight back. They've learned how to defeat either the band or the surgery or the bypass, and they continue to eat and they bring themselves up to a morbidly obese weight, and there's no more choices for a surgical intervention. So the clients come to us,
I see.
and we're able to help them.
I see. So your procedure is non-invasive as opposed to the surgical procedure that a surgeon would perform.
That's right. There's no drugs. There's no cutting. There's there's no time out of work.
Which also means less risk, right? I mean, there's always risk when you have an invasive procedure.
Yes. Our procedure is a 4-session program. The first session, or the second session, is a week after the first, and that's to ensure that the concept of the surgery has taken, and then we work on the smaller issues through the remaining 4 weeks. You know, people that have been overweight for a long time, they have a lot of personal issues or questions about their ability to function in a smaller world, being a smaller size. And we found that while we've had a great success rate, and that success rate, by the way, is close to 90%. We found that many people, after they completed the program, would start to put the weight back on somewhere 5, 6, 8 months later. So people that have had difficulty losing weight and knowing that they fit in and then start to gain weight, we offer a program to them that allows them to have support on a monthly or as needed basis at a greatly reduced price. And they're able to save the embarrassment of having to go up again. But most importantly, they discover about themselves what they've always believed, that they always could do things.
Right.
And they start to work on their personal development issues, self-esteem, ego enhancement.
Well, you know, weight reduction is all about self-esteem, so that's the bottom line. So yeah, so it actually makes perfect sense that you have this post program that allows people to maintain their weight, make sure they don't put it all back on, and that of course helps them improve their self-esteem at the same time.
It certainly does.
Makes perfect sense. Now, you also have a smoking cessation program, and I understand you offer a 100% guarantee. How can you do that?
It simply works.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
simply works.
Well, tell us about it.
It's, we have a 2-session program. It is 100% guaranteed. But 90% of our clients that come in on the very first session will stop smoking. On the very first session. And when we look at those clients, they really break down into 3 different types. There's a third of that group says, gee, yeah, I used to smoke. Another one would go, where's my cigarettes? Oh, I don't smoke anymore. And then the third group would be, oh, having coffee, or I'm getting in the car, or I'm getting up, or I'm going to bed. That's what I had to do with the cigarette, so they have an association.
Exactly. I was just going to ask you that question. How do you handle the association? A lot of people associate a cup of coffee or an alcoholic beverage, or as you said, you know, getting into bed or getting out of bed. They'll associate that with, I have to have a cigarette. How do you break that habit? I mean, that's a habit.
With hypnosis. They have the suggestions that are in their mind. When they go, where's my, oh, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's all they'll say to themselves, and they'll go on with their life.
Okay.
They'll have a drink.
So what do you mean by 100% guarantee? You say you offer a 100% guarantee.
If the client doesn't stop smoking and stay stopped, they simply come back in and we do it again.
Okay.
Now, I should point out to you, in the last couple of years, we've probably had 3 or 4 people that have come in, and we follow up with them. We get a lot of referrals from our clients.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's working. We're seeing the effectiveness of it. In fact, we just published to our website 47 new videos, and probably a third of those are people that have stopped smoking and given testimony to that.
You know, post-traumatic stress is a big issue, especially today with soldiers coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq. Can hypnosis help somebody who's suffering with post-traumatic stress?
Yes, hypnosis has been proven very, very effective in helping people leave post-traumatic stress disorder behind. Now, I'd like you to think about for a moment what stress is about. It's about an event happening. It may be on the battlefield. It may be seeing someone get hurt, killed, maimed, whatever.
Sure. What we call emotional distress.
That's a great word for it.
Yeah.
Well, when that happens, that's a single event. With hypnosis, we're able to treat that as a single event and get it done in just a few sessions. So it's not necessary to have 6 years of therapy to remove post-traumatic stress disorder. Most of our clients will be in 3 or 4 sessions, they'll be done completely. No more stress. Whether that had to do with childhood abuse, whether it had to do with losing a body part, whether it had to do with an accident, all of those things can be handled very, very quickly. Because if you think about it, those issues are where they are something that resides in the client's mind. And when we change what's residing, or the belief of what's residing in there, when that changes, their behavior changes and the way they respond to things. So it's all very, very effective.
Okay, so if I can just put it in my own words, basically I think what I'm hearing you say is that if a person can change their perception, then they can change their behavior.
But more importantly, that perception is what goes on in their subconscious mind. There's not a need for them to say, okay, Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States. Washington, D.C. is the capital. It's nothing like that at all.
Okay.
It's now a belief
I see.
that exists in their mind.
So they have a new belief system.
That's right.
Okay. Now, I realize that my next question, the type of hypnotherapy you can give can vary, but on average, how many sessions are we looking at here that their patient needs to go through before they see real success, whether it's smoking cessation, a loss of weight, or post-traumatic stress?
Most people will see a change the very, very first session.
Really, the very first session.
There are few people that do not see that change, and we'll have them back for a second session. And if we feel it's something that we're not able to handle, we're done. We don't want to waste their time or ours.
How long is that session? Are we talking 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour?
Our first session with new clients is typically about an hour and a half, give or take 15 minutes.
All right, all right.
That's because we're getting to know the client's getting to know us.
Right, yeah.
And getting very, very comfortable.
I would think one of the major issues between you and the client would also be trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
The client has to trust you.
That's right.
Yeah, I would think that's critical.
We have to spend the time with the client to make sure they are trusting. And if they're not, we just won't have a session.
Now, does health insurance pay for this type of hypnotherapy, or is it out-of-pocket payment?
Generally, it's out of pocket. There are some insurance companies that are starting to pay for it. They're calling it different names, and occasionally you can get some stuff paid for, but you should count on it being out of pocket.
Okay.
And again, there's no copay, but the work goes very, very quickly.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about pain management. Now, it's my experience, having spent 20 years in personal injury law, that there are a lot of Americans who suffer with chronic pain, whether it's chronic back pain or neck pain or arm pain or leg pain or foot pain. And oftentimes the medical community will go so far with them. They'll perform surgery, they'll provide them with painkillers, and at some point say, listen, you're at what they call a medical end result. Is there something that hypnosis can do to help these people better manage their pain other than having to rely on painkillers?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because it reminds me that last year at this time, I had another attorney come in. Now, I didn't know she was an attorney until she sent me a testimonial, but she had called originally about wanting to lose weight, and we had a few discussions, and she called and said, I'd like to schedule a session. And then she called and said, I don't think I can do it because the pain that I'm having from the accident that I had 6 years ago, where I fell down a flight of stairs, is just keeping me from concentrating, and I'm just distraught about it.
Right, right.
Now, when she did that, and we decided to work on her pain, the summary is she was 6 years previously, she had fallen down stairs, icy stairs. She had been being seen by Leahy Clinic on the North Shore, and had gotten absolutely nowhere. Now, her physical condition was better, but her pain was unbelievable. She wasn't sleeping, she wasn't functioning, and after her first session, she sent me a letter, and that's when I found out she was an attorney. The letter was 2 pages long, and she said, I found after the session that I could just let go. And for the next 4 days, all I did was sleep.
Wow.
So
Good
I
for
figured
her.
she was an attorney because she was used to getting paid by the word.
Right. Somebody out there who's interested in hypnotherapy, how should they go about seeking out a hypnotherapist? What sort of questions should they be asking? What sort of information should they be seeking so they know that they have a qualified person?
It's really a sense that someone should have that they're comfortable with this person. Most people that call us will be asked to fill out some forms before we even schedule the session. We don't want people in that are just expecting hypnosis to work just like that.
Right.
What we want are people that want to get better, that know they've had a problem, and when we get their paperwork, we talk with them, and they get this wonderful feeling of being comfortable with us. If the client is calling hypnotist and The hypnotist says, yes, I can see you on Thursday, or I can see you on next week, or whatever, without any pre-qualification, I would run.
Yeah.
I would want someone who really cares about me, who knows about me. And we've been very, very successful using that intake protocol.
Now, we're in an online world today.
Yes.
And a lot of businesses have opened up websites and put themselves online, and I know Just Imagine has done the same thing. Is going online, or let me rephrase that, are there certain things that people should be looking for when they go online? Because a lot of people today are vetting professionals online.
There are professionals online, and they should be looking for testimonials.
Testimonials.
They should be looking for people that have spoke up and said, you know, I worked with Don Glass, and I feel good about that, and I've seen the changes.
Why don't you tell our viewers how you can be contacted?
Well, we're located right on Main Street. In fact, it's pretty much of a landmark. There's a building that I've been referring to as Circles of Wisdom building,
Okay.
and it houses the second Bertucci's in the Andover.
Okay.
Okay, not the one in North Andover,
Right.
but the one on Main Street in Andover. And that's located directly across the street from Andover's municipal parking lot.
Okay, I know where that is. Good place for us to stop. Today we navigated the world of hypnosis. Hypnosis is an altered state of awareness, perception, or consciousness that is used by a certified and trained hypnotist to treat a psychological or physical problem. Once a person's in this highly relaxed state, a certified hypnotist can have a patient concentrate and focus his or her attention. In so doing, the patients are using the power of their minds in hypnosis to more effectively reach their potential. Today we learned that hypnosis is used for a variety of issues such as phobias, anxiety, smoking cessation, weight control, chronic pain, and habit control. Today, Don talked about the virtual gastric band procedure to help patients effectively lose weight. He also talked about the 100% guaranteed stop smoking program offered by Just Imagine Hypnosis. Also, Don shared with us that a person who is hypnotized will not become unconscious. In fact, this person will be aware of everything at all times. Hypnosis does not weaken your will. In fact, you cannot be made to do anything against your will. Want to know more about hypnosis? Then visit the Just Imagine website, which is chock full of helpful information. In closing, I'd like to thank my guest, Don Glass. Don, thanks
Ramsey,
very much.
Thank you so much.
And as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, building your trust.